Shirley MacLaine. Hollywood's most unapologetic legend. Finally reveals why she needed her own trailer at 91. Shirley MacLaine just detonated a secret she's guarded for 7 decades. Why did she insist on her own trailer, her own call time, even her own press junket, no matter the cost? Tonight she tells us, and the reason rewrites everything we thought we knew about on-set feuds, open marriages, and the price of total freedom. Buckle up, because every chapter only gets wilder from here. Shirley MacLaine Beatty entered the world in Depression-era Richmond, Virginia, named after child star Shirley Temple, and nicknamed Powerhouse for smashing more home runs than the neighborhood boys. Ballet began as ankle therapy, morphed into obsession, and by 17 she'd traded Arlington High for Broadway auditions. An understudy break in the pajama game turned an unknown dancer into the talk of Manhattan overnight, but that rush came with a choice: high school diploma or destiny. She grabbed destiny and rewrote her last name, lifting MacLaine from her mother's side because producers kept mangling Beatty. In one stroke, she created the marquee you still see today. Transition. If that decision felt bold, her next one, on a dark Vermont set with Alfred Hitchcock, would catapult her into film history. 3 months after signing with Paramount, she was standing beside Hitchcock in The Trouble with Harry, winning a Golden Globe for freshness. Success snowballed into Around the World in 80 days, but production photos hid a secret pregnancy. When daughter Sachi arrived, Shirley chose a career warp drive. The baby would live in Japan with husband Steve Parker and his mistress while Mom stormed Hollywood. Viewers saw glamour. Backstage, there were retakes, swollen ankles, and contracts that treated actresses like chess pieces. Then Frank Sinatra personally tapped her for Some Came Running. He even demanded the character die, because, he predicted, the Academy loves a tragic ingenue. He was right. Her first Oscar nomination came wrapped in tears and tabloid buzz. Yet the most explosive drama wasn't in front of a camera. It was in a producer's office where one unwanted advance met the sharpest slap in 1950s Hollywood. Hal Wallace, the mogul who discovered her, allegedly forced a kiss. She slapped him so hard studio walls shook. Lawsuit, settlement, lesson delivered. When a columnist smeared her the same year, she decked him too. Then came salary war. In 1958's The Matchmaker, Anthony Perkins pocketed $75K for 10 weeks while MacLaine earned $25 for identical work. Perkins protested. Nothing changed. She later admitted the unequal pay stung more than his icy attitude on set. Jump to 1980. A change of seasons. Anthony Hopkins labeled her the most obnoxious actress I've ever worked with. Shirley's reply, I didn't like him either. The crew literally redlined shooting schedules so the two would never share a lunch table, and who could forget the trench warfare of 1983's Terms of Endearment? Debra Winger showed up in combat boots, licked Shirley's leg during rehearsal, and yes, turned around and let out a thunderous fart in her face. Winger later shrugged. There's something true in there. Paramount finally brokered peace by splitting top billing, Shirley in the US, Winger overseas. While Hollywood headlines screamed diva, her private life quietly rewrote the rules of marriage. In 1952, Steve Parker proposed 4 hours after meeting her. By 1956, he'd relocated to Japan. They spent 28 years legally married, spiritually independent. Shirley called it, my primary relationship. All others were electives. Lovers ranged from politicians to movie icons, sometimes 3 in a single day. She joked, didn't want to miss out. The arrangement shattered convention and her daughter's heart. At 6, Sachi was shipped permanently to Japan for safety. Decades later, Sachi's memoir Lucky Me alleged loneliness, empty holidays, and one jaw-dropping claim. Her mother believed Steve was a clone and her real father was an astronaut from another galaxy. Shirley dismissed the book as mostly fiction, but the rift never fully healed. With family drama off the charts, she dove into the only realm wilder than Hollywood: past lives, UFOs, and cosmic contracts. 83's Out on a Limb didn't just sell millions. It blasted New Age philosophy onto primetime TV. In the ABC miniseries Shirley astral projects to the moon, meets extraterrestrials, and recalls Atlantis. Viewers split between laughter and fascination, but book sales for occult guides spiked 95% the week it aired. She doubled down, Atlantis memories, reincarnation as a Mongolian warrior murdered by her own ex-husband, in that life at least. Conversations with a 35,000-year-old spirit named Ramtha. Letterman tried mocking her. She yanked his hair on live TV and called him a DMN fool. Critics rolled their eyes, yet an entire generation suddenly knew the term out-of-body experience. And Shirley's bank account swelled with bestseller. Royalties. New proof she could spin ridicule into relevance. But even mystics need a comeback, and Hollywood loves a redemption arc. A 7-year self-imposed exile ended with The Turning Point, an 11-time Oscar nominee showcasing a deeper, more grounded Shirley. 4 years later, she locked horns with Winger and still walked off with the golden statue, declaring, "I deserve this." The line burned across entertainment news for months. In the 2000s, she resurfaced as everybody's favorite scene-stealing grandmother, bewitched in her shoes, rumor has it. Then came Downton Abbey, dropping an American firecracker into Britain's most mannered drawing room. Critics loved the transatlantic snarkfest opposite Maggie Smith. Regret? Only one. She confessed recently that turning down breakfast at Tiffany's might have been a miss, though she still chuckles. Audrey did okay without me. 90-plus years in, she could coast on awards. Instead, she dropped the trailer. Bombshell. Paparazzi spotted her this spring shuffling into a Malibu cafe, cane in one hand, sarcasm in the other. Asked about health, she quipped, "I plan on at least another decade, don't we all?" Then she told people the story fans waited for. Separate trailers weren't about ego. In 1961, after she rejected a producer's after-hours invitation, word spread quickly. Male colleagues began slipping unwelcome notes under her dressing room door. Rather than fight every day, she demanded her own space, her own driver, and the clause followed her for life. Privacy, she said, was the only way to keep working. Without carrying pepper spray. Finally, she addressed Anthony Perkins again. The pay gap? Studios talked equality, paid inequality, and wondered why I had an attitude. Cue mic drop. Shirley MacLaine gambled everything. Contracts, family harmony, public approval, for a life run on radical honesty. Sometimes it cost her a daughter's embrace. Sometimes it earned her an Oscar. She slapped back at predators, out-earned cynics with metaphysical memoirs, and never apologized for loving whom she wished or believing what others called crazy. So here's the question she leaves us. If total freedom asked you to pay in scandal, solitude, or a few bruised egos, would you sign the check? Sound off in the comments because the conversation is just getting started, and something tells me Shirley will be reading, chuckling, and maybe reincarnating as the algorithm itself.